Your life. Go ahead, Arun. Start describing it.
Okay, so basically the project starts from the needs assessment, and then there's the business case, then the benefits management plan are derived, which are financial, can be IRR, NPV, CBR, cost benefit, and the non-financials can be opportunity and the payback period. Then a project charter is developed. And then after project charter, these are all the functions after it are basically part of the project management plan. First step, before going on the parts of the project management plan, let me cover some part of the fundamentals. The organization that can be a virtual, functional, matrix, or projectized. A matrix organization has weak, balanced, or projectized balance. Influence can be by OPEs and external environment factors and organization process assets, which include policies, knowledge base, procedures. EFs, external environment factors, can be internal and external. Business environment of an organization has portfolios. A portfolio is a structure combined of programs, projects, sub-portfolios, and operations. Programs have sub-projects and sub-programs. And development approaches we'll be discussing in this is product life cycles are predictive, incremental, iterative, hybrid, and agile. This is basically the triangle of PMI: leadership, strategic business, and technical project management. And these are basically the 6 leadership styles. We will be focusing more on the servant leader as this is our base model and what we'll follow in the PMP. Okay, coming back to our project management plan. The first one is basically identify stakeholders. Then you make a stakeholder register, stakeholder engagement metrics assessment. You manage stakeholder and then monitor stakeholder engagement. At any stage you identify new stakeholder, you pick it, you make the process again from identify stakeholders. For the communications, we have plan communication management, you manage it, and then you monitor the communication. Coming to the risk management, you identify risk, you make a risk register, perform qualitative analysis. If you need further analysis, you do the quantitative one, else we skip to the directly planned response. A response can be negative or positive. Negative responses are we avoid, mitigate, or transfer. Positive ones we exploit, enhance, or share. And both basically converge to basically a risk response, and we monitor the risk. At any point, if there is a new risk, we take it back to the risk register. Okay, then comes the procurement management plan. We decide on a make or buy situation. We make it or buy it. Then there's scope selection. We select the contract type, procurement state of work, and then we have basically merged all the processes in one line, so it becomes more precise. These are line by line: advertise, bid documents, seller proposals, evaluate proposal, shortlist the sellers, agreements, product delivery inspection, and then in the end you close procurement. There's a process of conflict resolution, but if it's applicable, if there's no conflict, you don't go to the conflict management. Then we have the quality management plan. We plan quality management, we manage quality, we control quality, and it's a repetitive cycle, and we validate the scope for verified deliverables. For the resource management, we make a project estimate, obtain training needs, project team composition, and then there's a Tuckman ladder. There are several organizational theories, Maslow hierarchy of needs, and the theory of X and Y, and several others, and there's a RACI chart. Okay, now coming to the scope. Okay, the scope part we already integrated with the flowcharts we made today. So should I discuss this again?
Yes. Everything go through it.
Okay, so the scope, we've collect the requirements, requirement documentation. It can be functional or non-functional. Then there's resource metrics. We prioritize it and we make it a project statement of work. The project statement work, WBS and WBS dictionary combines into a scope baseline. This is basically a WBS structure that the first level is known as the deliverable, and after which the first level is known as control accounts. The mid level is known as planning package, and the last of the line is known as the work package. We do the plan scope management. Scope management we do project requirement, project requirement and product requirements. We check the deliverable. If it meets the quality standards, we accept it. If no, we go through a change request. Okay, accepted, verified delivery, validate the scope, accept it, and close it. Coming to the schedule, from scope, schedule, and schedule, we start off from scheduling. You define activities, decompose the work package into activity list, activity attributes, and milestones. There are lead to lag activities. Dependencies can be internal, external, mandatory, discretionary. Both can be under internal or external. They are interrelated. And then we do the activity estimation, analogous, parametric, bottom up, 3-point. 3-point uses triangular or beta, also known as the PERT. The formulas are written. These are the activity 4 types of activities: finish to start, start to start, finish, start to finish. Then we have it is a sample of projects, schedule network, and the tools and techniques you use: schedule compression techniques, and optimize to basically shorten the, if we are going behind project. For schedule compression techniques, we do crashing or fast tracking, and resource optimization, we do leveling, smoothing. The smoothing part, the leveling part can have an impact on the schedule. Okay, now coming to the cost part. The cost part is basically the last of the scope, schedule, and cost, the geometry of the third. And the cost, we make a schedule baseline, estimated cost baseline. We make project estimates based, either they are definitive, rough order, or phased estimate. The percentage of their variance are defined in the PMI. Tools and techniques used: funding limit, financing, and this is basically a chart of showing the actual cost, planned value, earned value. So this is used to calculate scope, earned value, and
variance and all things. And Arun, if you allow someone else to carry on, I don't want the entire things that you will explain. Maybe someone else from your team.
Yeah,
if 3 people can do like 5 minutes. Yes. Second.
Yeah. Ayaz, maybe you can do this.
Yeah.
Please start from the cost part.
Okay. Can you give me the control?
You go ahead. He can pull it down. You can just.
Okay.
Okay.
For the cost, we have from the schedule baseline, estimate, and cost baseline. Basically, we have the project estimates done based on the criteria's definitive, rough order of magnitude, and phased estimate. The tools and techniques which we are looking out for is funding limit and financing. Basically, we have this chart which we are showing it based on time and money. Here we are showing up the planned value, earned value, and the actual cost spent. And basically, we are showing here the BAC, which is nothing but budget at cost, and we can have estimate to completion and EAC. Again, we have the specific formulas for this one, which is SV, which is scheduled variance, which is AV minus PV, and cost variance AV minus AC. And we have performance index, which we can say it SPI AV by PV or CPI AV by AC. Basically, this performance index, if they are above 1, they are good. If they are below 1, they are bad, and which it means that we need more costs and more resources. Similarly, estimated completion, which is EC plus ETC we have. And then we have the chart below, which shows us the chart, which we have is the chart for the cost, that thing. Basically, we have active cost estimates along with active contingency reserve. This makes up the work package cost estimate. And when we add this work package cost estimate along with the contingency reserves, this makes the control accounts. And again, from the control accounts, we this will make it as a cost baseline. Again, when we add the managed reserves to this one, this will make as project budget. Basically, this is nothing but cost aggregation of the items, because we are moving from bottom to the top for this one. The next one is, when we come back, we'll look out for the integration management plan. Okay, in integration management plan, we have assessment and coordination, tie plans together, identify and correct gaps, and then we encapsulate the overall project plans. And the other thing what we have is here is PMIS, where and apart from that, we will have the change management and configuration management. Basically, change management, it has a whole set of process wherein whatever any change is requested, that goes into the change management, and the whole process goes on. Whereas in configuration management, the documents which are supposed to be done, that will be taken care of.
Okay, maybe now someone else can do the agile. Vijay, can you do?
Yeah. In Agile, we have Agile framework where it has a combination of Scrum, Lean, XP, Kanban, and continuous improvement. And for the Scrum, we go with the requirement that is done by the product owner. And requirements are broken down into the major requirements, which is a collection of user stories and features known as epic and features. And features are broken down into smaller user stories. And based on the prioritization of the product owner, we have a product backlog. And since and we are doing a prioritization based on the customer's requirement and giving the high value, high risk, high value, low risk. Based on that, we are doing a prioritization. And as we move forward, user stories are based on the invest. We follow the invest criteria in that, and we are going to sprint planning. In the sprint planning, we have the user stories are based on the prioritization of the Moscow. We follow all the Moscow principles of prioritization and all that, 100 dots, fist, and all that. And in that, we get a sprint planning, and where sprint planning takes from 2 to 4 weeks. And we follow some process where sprint review, we prioritize the user stories based on the development team does that. And once that is fixed, we go with the user points on the Fibonacci series T-shirt and all that, Delphi techniques and all. We go planning poker and all that. And in that, we have a visual representative of burn down chart and a burn up chart, where we show the remaining work and the completed work. Then once it is done, then we go for a retrospective where we follow the 5 stages, like set the stage, gather data, and generate insight, decide what to do, and close retrospective.
Okay. Guys, are you done? Or still anything left, Arun?
Yeah, yes, we are done.
Okay, thank you very much. You were excellent. Excellent effort, team one. Very well explained. Good effort. Let's see. Let's see the team. Let's see how team two does. Okay, team two. Prakshit, go ahead. And just like them, you need to divide the work between. Also need to give other team member the chance to explain. Please start.
Okay, so we start with the need assessment. So need assessment, we have business case, project charter, and benefit management plan. We have IRR, ROI, PVV, NPV, cost benefit, benefit cost, opportunity cost. Then we have business environment, which has organization governance, steering committee, phase gate. We have EEF, OPA. Then we have management compliance requirement. So we have listed down all the compliances which are required. Then change management, we have rollout plan, training artifacts. Continuous improvement, we have listed down all the tools. Business environment demo, and then we have project improvement through Six Sigma. Also, we have manage project knowledge, net promoter score, variance analysis, which all are the part of it. Similarly, we have organization culture, projectized composite function matrix. Thereafter, there is a project life cycle, predictive, iterative, incremental, agile, hybrid. So organization, it's been explained. So stakeholder, it is identify stakeholders, stakeholder engagement plan as stakeholder register. If we have to prioritize them, so we have power interest matrix, cubes, salience model. And then we have procurement, make or buy. So this decision is based on cost, time, skills, compliance. Contract can be predictive, agile. So if it is predictive, fixed price, then cost reimbursement, time and material. Agile, we have time and material, target, cost, contract, incremental delivery, sole source, single source, this source selection. Then we have procurement statement of work through which advertisement goes, bidder conference, and bidder proposal, and finally the agreement happens. And then we have conflict in the procurement. It can be done either visit contract, win-win, mediator, or ADR, alternate dispute resolution. So scope, Taha, can you take over?
Well, I suppose I have no choice, so I will. So when we talk about scope, we start off with data gathering. If you could scroll up, please, Picture a bit. So these are the techniques, how we work through them. And then once we've gathered the data, we try to pin down what our requirements are. Within those requirements, there could be items which are functional, non-functional requirements which directly don't impact us. And then business plans and all the rest. Once we've gathered that, then it's a process of the data representation side of things. And within scope, what we also capture is how we actually break down the project into further resolution and details, with the work package being the smallest package. As we scroll down, we've got our what's this one, schedule, I believe. So how does the schedule impact the project? So you've got dependencies. The types of dependencies could either be internally driven, externally, within those, something that's mandatory or discretionary. What we try to do is you define the activities, you break them down, you assign them milestones, and naturally you could have a degree of sequence in your for example, if you're working on a Gantt chart, it could be what's this FS, I've lost that, but anyway, start, stop, finish, start, start, finish, and so onwards. Then you move towards the estimating activities. You want to, there are different ways but you could actually estimate the activities. Things like 3-point triangulation could be optimistic, most likely, worst case scenario. And then you've got other tools that you use as well, like your precedence network diagrams, schedule compressions, resource optimization techniques, and how they impact ultimately your project and schedule baselines. This section here covers the cost. So when we talk about cost, we eventually want to end up at a position starting from your cost performance, where you've got your different metrics that you work to. You've got your cone of uncertainties, which is the first range or first pass of cost estimate. And then the techniques that you use to tailor them down and improve and reduce the variance on your cost. Then you come up with a cost management plan, which captures all these things which have been listed. The next thing naturally is to be able to control your cost. Once you've got that, based on your cost assessment, we build up a budget. On the budget, we've got certain degrees of contingency funds. So for items that we have forecasted as likely risks, we tap into a thing called as management reserve. If something just comes up and hits us out of the blue, then we dive into our contingency reserve. And let's scroll down, Prakshit, please. Right, so this is the communication aspect of things. So how does the team communicate? Because naturally in a project, communication is key. So you start off with the 7 C's. The information has to be right for the right people, right time with the right impact. Active listening is engaged. We could have formal, informal communication, push, pull, interactive, two-way. And effectively, you want to be able to tailor your communication to suit your audience. And that's where you've got this tailored to stakeholders, and then you do these communication requirement analysis, the grids, the surveys, the questionnaires, things like these. They all feed up upwards into your communication management plan. Should we have any issues during the project, which is natural, you could look into negotiations. and eventually, sorry, lost you there. Yeah, team decision making as well. And yeah, suppose we crack on with that. Anybody else want to take over from me, or?
I can take.
Good.
Yeah, Kasim.
Okay. Integration management plan. We have PMIS, project management and uh, uh, information system, and change management. Change management has project change. We have review tools and product changes, change configuration changes. We have factoring and dynamic changes, discipline, Scrum of Scrum, Agile, and Artifact. Artifact has deliverable and project document. Artifact actually is Artifact is a document that is related to the plan management of any project. So we in change management we have some more primitive and defect pair and CCB. After that we have change management process. We have change request initially. After that we okay, now we have project management, project team, project management tools. Now we have human resource management, identify, acquire, and manage, and team appraisals. And we have team composition, full-time, part-time, SMEs. Like uh, we have some roles, leadership, performance assessment, task, team building 360 of stakeholder style, leadership, remove, promote, conflict management. We have cases resolution, EQ, influences decision making approaches. We have concise, oneself, high, and other. We have some levels as well. Problem solving, no PM interference, disagree, contact, something. EQ, we have self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. We have authority and pre-assessment tools as well. Attitude, attitude surveys, interviews, specific assessment ability test, and focus groups. We have responsibility assigned. We have tailors, agile, traditionals, competence. We have turning of required review and gaps frequently. We have parenting and coaching, new better resources monitoring. We have otherwise we have organization theory. Some theories are there: Maslow, Hasberg motivation theory, Magros theory, X and Y, Mackland achievement theory as well. We have if we come back again, ground rules. So we have team norms, code of conduct, ethics, violations. So we have team charter as well. It is very base things. So in quality, we have quality management plan. It has some branches like benchmark, cost of quality, quality standards, sampling, data gathering, management quality, verified data gathering, data analysis, and data representation. If we go to that data representation, yeah, if we go to get a data representation, we have fishbone, flowchart, affinity diagram, scatter diagram, control chart, and like other things we have. So if we goes to check a risk management plan, so we have we do identify that, and after that we have some.
Another member of
Yes.
the team, any other member
Yeah.
of team too also would like to add, because it is getting long and long. Yeah.
If someone,
Yeah, well done, Kasim. Yeah, Harun, Prakshit, another team member of yours?
Yeah, Saswati, if you can.
Saraswati was
With the
thinking.
risk management plan, and we identify the risk, and here we have expert judgment and stakeholder judgment. We go with the individual risk and group risk as well. Then we rank the risk. So all the risk we note down in the risk register, and then we rank the risk. We go for qualitative and quantitative risk. Then in qualitative, we have risk read matrix, and used for individual risk, and quantitative we use for individual or group of risk. And then in the risk response, we have opportunity, threat, acceptance, emergence risk, residual risk, and secondary risk. If a risk occurs and we are implementing the risk response, then either we get a residual risk or secondary risk. Residual risk can be accepted, and secondary risk again needs to go to identify risk and all those processes. Then we have contingency planning and RCA, root cause analysis. Then we have the risk appetite. Under risk appetite, it's organization, whether your organization is risk seeker, risk neutral.
I guess she lost connection. Sinu,
Chakra.
Sinu,
Someone else can be.
Sinu,
Someone else
can you?
can.
Sinu? Sinu is not here. Chakra?
Yep. Now,
Sinu is there.
Sinu is here. Go ahead.
then we move on to the closing.
Sorry, I
stage.
just lost it.
Okay, so let continue to Sinu. Shishwati, let Sinu do. Okay, Sinu, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Saswati.
We actually move on to the closing state with business document. We update the business document, the project document. We close up the project charter, and we make sure we are moving into the transition phase with planning and readiness. We make sure the deliverables are accepted and we get the customer sign off, and the EEF and OPAs are updated along with the lessons learned register. We close the procurement and we generate the final report, and we celebrate the success. So
Well done, well done. So just to put something in the context for everyone who's watching at YouTube, these guys are studying PMP. They are not like people who have done PMP. They are studying their PMP for the first time, and I'm really proud of both of you, team 1 and team 2. So thank you very much for everyone watching at YouTube, and also when I'll put it on recording. Okay, guys, so this was it for today.